maybe also just conserve for a second just to lower the temperature. What have you done, Hong? I am so annoyed at this. He crashed again. Didn't he crash just like 2 races ago or something? What in the world is your issue? Alright everybody, hello and welcome back to another episode on Motorsport Manager with me, Spacefish, and welcome back to the starting grid for this very Grand Prix. Now, over the last few episodes, we have constantly worked on evolving the car. We've pumped a lot of money into development. We've got a new track underway now that is also within, like, I think 15-ish weeks or so, finishing construction, and we're really trying hard to finally achieve our sponsorship objective, and with the addition of a new sponsor in the last episode that now put the sponsorship objective to only 11th or above, I'm really hoping that we can somehow start racking up those sponsorship objectives. This training, honestly, was quite positive in the overall outcome, but we've kind of seen in the past that that is not all too valid of a data point for us, usually, because somehow we seem to always be doing way worse in the race than we are doing in the trainings. But at least it gives us a sliver of hope that we can maybe finally get a car in above the 11th spot, because that would mean that we could get a nice 300k of a bonus from hitting that sponsorship objective, which would mean the absolute world to us in terms of financials and what we can reinvest in the car, of course, to push it even further. So fingers crossed right there. For the start though, we will have to set this up, but just quickly before we get going, if you happen to enjoy this episode, please make sure to hit that subscribe button right down below. We've got a goal of 1k subscribers till the end of the year, which is absolutely insane and unrealistic, but I'd like to try and hit it anyway, so every single one will truly help a lot with that. And, well, with that said, if you do enjoy it, of course, make sure to hit that like button too. But, with that all out of the way, the setup and everything I think we've already kind of set up very well over the training. I think in terms of, like, what bonuses we pick, we're also already very set. There may be some rain during the race, which is something to actually take into consideration. However, I don't think that really the faster tire changes are going to crazily outweigh the performance increase for us. The second in pit stop time could, though. I mean, I'm pretty sure that... Does Andre not have something like that yet? Oh, no, he does. Green sweet spot in qualifying is much bigger. Yeah, well, I mean, we're not in qualifying, so that doesn't matter. Pit stop times, though. I mean, we're definitely going to pick race trim. But a second in pit stop time is... That can iron out, like, 3 laps of driving slower than others. I think we may give this... I'm not sure. Let's go and give it a try for once. See if it does well for us. We've apparently got a pit stop coming up in about 8 laps when it already starts raining, so, you know, we'll try and go for that. Now, super softs being the obvious option here, because that's what we've got the research for, and of course, given that we're getting rain coming in rather early, that's also what we generally want to go for. Setup, as I said, quite nicely set up already. We're going to fuel these guys with less fuel, though. Now, the question is, quite honestly... This is actually the 7th lap, isn't it? It's always quite weird because it isn't quite an accurate representation of the laps. You can see there's like 5 boxes, and the rain is said to come in before the 8th lap, right? So I guess we would probably get Hong in the 7th and Andre in the 8th. So we're going to probably do 10 laps of fuel, given that we've already improved, like, actually maybe 9 for Andre, because I think his car parts are not quite as reliable as Hong's. So let's do that for fuel for him. And for Hong then, I mean, setup, same deal. The tyres, I mean, they're kind of set to last 6 to 8 laps anyway, so I guess that's somewhat fine. 32 laps of a session, though, is quite crazy. I mean, if we were to only go with super softs for him, I'm actually quite happy that it's going to rain, because otherwise, honestly, we'd burn through tyres so much though we would quite have to overdo those pit stops. So yeah, so 9 laps of fuel for Hong as well. We're going to get him probably in the 7th lap then to get some inters. Let's confirm that. Driver strategy is of course going to be the max for the start of the race, and then, well, Andre, we're going to turn down the engine a bit faster than for Hong, and then, tyre wear, I guess we're going to sort of have to somewhat manage. More for Hong than for Andre, probably, but let's see. So Andre, being in 2nd spot, because he's absolutely terrible in championship position. Hong already in 8th spot, because he did get a few points here and there, I think. So let's see how this is going to go. We're going to focus on Hong, of course, because he's going to be the more important driver, the more important car in terms of performance as well, and the one with the worst start of the two, as Andre just casually goes into 1st spot, while Hong loses one. I'm always kind of surprised at this kind of part, to be fair. But yeah, so, start being not ideal for us, not terrible. Hong really, oh my, I don't know how he's always doing that badly at the start, though. I'm kind of concerned about that one, because, you know, technically he's supposed to be a semi-decent driver with a lot of talent, you know, that still needs to develop. But overall, not too impressed with his performance as he drops through to 13th spot now, while Gomez is still holding on to 1st. Now for Gomez, we're going to have to tune down that engine and tyre strategy. For Hong, we're only going to do the tyre strategy for now. And then let's zoom through this first portion of the race a bit more. Hopefully Hong will be able to claw back some places too, once he kind of gets settled down in the race a bit more. What I'm actually wondering about, drivers technically have some sort of, I mean, technically he's in a better form than Gomez, so that's interesting. But he's back into 11th spot, which is the sponsorship objective. Hopefully he'll somehow cling on to about that range for the time being. Gomez slowly dropping down, but that's totally fine for us, I would say. And Hong technically can burn some more fuel, but let's kind of just see as we go over the race distance and then sort of adjust to that part. Now the tyres we're going to have to tune back down, especially since they're kind of sort of also a bit overheating, to try and manage to add a bit more and actually get that through the 7 laps that we're looking to go with Hong and the 8 with Andre, which, given the window that we're actually falling into, I think we should actually go to conserve on Hong's part and probably just push the engine a tad bit more in return. So let's go and do that. 13th spot now for Hong, unfortunately. Really not doing well. I don't know what the issue seems to be for him. He's never doing well in the race, unfortunately. Like 16th spot now. I mean, Gomez is also going through the ranks, so he's not the only one. We can certainly not make it to the end of the race with this much fuel. We've only gone 5 out of 32 laps, mate. So, like, that's an interesting question. We'll have to live with this for the time being, kind of provision. I'm interested. Like, the one thing that I have to say is kind of interesting is that the rest of the AI has got the soft tires, because I mean it's supposed to rain soon, so I don't know why in the world you would pick those rather. Going into the 6th lap now, Hong has got way too much fuel, doesn't he? 6, 7. I mean, he's got like half a lap of fuel remaining. I would say Andre is quite decent for fuel in terms of his strategy. Hong just needs to burn more fuel though. And I hope that these tyres are going to last a bit more, because as I said, I mean, he's got to get the 7th lap done with these two, which he will. He'll just lose some pace on the way, which really is concerning, because I mean, we're also already that far back. I mean, we're in an 18th spot with our fastest car and our theoretically fastest driver, so I don't know, you know, that's the thing. We're in training, we get like 4 laps, no, 4th spot rather, and then, yeah, I don't know. Anyways, we are going to go get Hong into the pits now. We're going to go for inters with how the rain is looking. Those should last us, well, 11 to 13 laps. It's a start, I suppose. We're going to totally fill up the car, don't have to fix anything. I'm going to make it a fast pit stop because we do need to catch up on all that lost time in the pits as usual. And then we're going to try and hold on to these tyres for a bit longer, I suppose, because that's kind of the ones that will hopefully last us the race distance, and we kind of overspend fuel on Hong's part, losing us a tad bit of time, but hopefully not too crazy much. Gomez doesn't have tyres remaining. That's good news. I'm kind of worried he'll have a blowout, potentially. Not sure if that's a thing in this game. Oh, God. I thought his tyres were meant to somehow last 2 laps longer than I don't even know. But Hong is out of the pits then. That's good news. We're going to get him to attack for now for the tyres, but I think we're going to tune it down rather quickly on those. Gomez is still driving at least, so that's something, but it's, yeah, he's losing time now. That was a bad move on our part. Hopefully, Hong can take advantage of the early lap on the Inters now. A lot of people still haven't pitted, I think. I can't see it now because Andre's in the pits. But maybe this is going to gain us a good bunch of time. We're going to have to tune down the tyres now, though, to neutral, I guess. Engine can just keep going. We're going to leave that tuned up all the way. Same for Gomez now, just a quick, fast outlap. And you can see, like, the front of the field all haven't pitted yet. So I would imagine they're still driving. Why are they still driving? Are they out of their mind? They must be losing so much time at this point. I mean, that's all the people that went with softs instead of super softs, so I guess that's part of their very weird strategy, but, you know, maybe the AI making that weird of a mistake there can award us the time that we need. We're going to get the tyres here to conserve, to actually save a bit on the heat aspect of things there, but overall, I would say we're probably catching up quite well on time. Now, he has got to go down to this sort of setting. Maybe also just conserve for a second just to lower the temperature. What have you done, Hong? I am so annoyed at this. He crashed again. Didn't he crash just like 2 races ago or something? What in the world is your issue? I don't even know. Like, how many more times could you even crash? It's... Oh. I am so sick of that. I am so sick of that. The strategy just put us in a very nice window with all these people making mistakes, and now we're not catching up to them because our good driver with a good car just binned it again. Maybe he's not the good driver after all. Oh my god, this is like absolutely unacceptable. The tyres are still overheating despite being on conserve, which is an interesting one. We're going to have to fully focus on Gomez now, I suppose, and hopefully he can carry it through the race at least and not crash just as Hong did. I am absolutely annoyed at that. That is just so bad. We're in 16th spot now with a car that's just lacking a lot of performance. I don't think we can hit the objective anymore, to be fair. I do not think that's going to happen in a million years. We're going to keep trying. We're going to keep trying to balance out tyre versus fuel and everything, but I don't know. What do we say about that? Let's let this go on for a bit. You know, nothing really is going to happen here over the next few laps, so I think we can skip a few. We're in 16th spot now with Andre. People are actually catching up to us too, which is not the greatest news in the world. The tyres are at least looking somewhat decent comparatively in terms of their condition. Now, the interesting point here actually being... Let's look at this for a second, right? It's supposed to get dry, I would say, like lap 26-ish is when it gets dry, and when we go for another set of, I would say, super softs probably to finish it off. Now, if it gets dry lap 26-ish, we're not going to carry these tyres for another 10 laps, to be fair. So what we can probably do is just burn the heck out of all the fuel and tyres we have, go for an early pit stop, go for another set of intermediates, try and catch up on some time with that, because, like, otherwise, you're going to be pitting in like lap 20 or something with how it's currently looking for another set. Well, yeah. I mean, we're one way or another not going to carry it through another 10 laps, basically. So we may as well burn as much out of them as we can now, then burn as much out of the next set as we can, maybe with a bit of underfueling to save a bit of load on the engine and stuff. Or not underfueling, but at least a little less fuel. And, well, then we'll just kind of try and get things done that way. Now, we have to conserve the tyres here, because I do want to at least burn the 2 laps of fuel, I think. Do I? Maybe not, honestly. Let's get them in the pits. We're going to go for another set of inters, as I said. Plan is going to be... What lap are we in? 18. Okay, I mean, the plan honestly has to be, given that we're about thinking lap 26, we're going to be planning for, like, 8 laps, so we're gonna go 9.77 laps of fuel, so that should be 10 when they fill it up properly. Gonna go for fast pit stop, of course, and that's going to be the plan. Then let's put these tyres on attack again, just get the last bit of life out of them while we can. And then, yeah, we'll have to see. I'm really curious to see how the AI is going to do that now, because they're all kind of a bit offset in terms of their tactics, and either their tires are all going to get messed up and they're just going to be waiting for things to dry up, or something. I don't really know what the idea is going to be for them, but we'll just try this approach and hope that it works out for us. Gonna leave everything on max attack for the time being, use the most we can out of these tires. We're of course down to 19th spot now, but you can see just how many people have got issues with their tires. There's people that need repairs and stuff, so maybe we can somehow, like, look at this. There's people doing softs now, and I don't know what the AI is doing with their tires, to be fair. Like, maybe that's gonna work, who knows, but it would be kind of very baffling to me, to be fair. But yeah, so we're just gonna keep burning through tires and fuel for the time being. Maybe get it down a tad bit to not over burn these tires. But overall, I mean, you can see we're just overtaking these guys easily now with their weird strategy. I mean, they've all got some weird tires, and we've got the proper tires for the weather, so we're starting to overtake them all. I think the extra pit stop has already been well worth it. There was some decent planning, at least, on that side. Now, the question is going to be if it's going to be worth it enough to get us into the slot that we want. I mean, we're currently still very much fighting people with soft tires, so interesting one right there. The track is starting to dry up, so I think we need to actually burn the tires and the fuel even more now. But it's still going to be wet for another lap or two, which is kind of where the cutover now is for the other tires. I don't think they can end it with these, though. I mean, look at some of these tires. I don't know. I don't think they can end it with that. The thing is, it's kind of drying up a bit faster than I expected, to be fair. The track, in theory, was supposed to be a lot wetter at this point. Engine is not doing well, apparently. Well, it's doing somewhat alright. I know the tyre wear is getting bad, and we just absolutely got crazily overtaken by someone on softs, which is an issue. We also apparently totally overfueled the car. Well, no, because the plan was for something else to happen. Okay, now the interesting part is going to be we've got 9 laps remaining, so we're going to need softs. Oh, this is... I'm going to fuel it a little less, like that, and going to do another fast pit stop, and hopefully, with a lot of these people still carrying super softs and a few of them inters, and maybe a few of them having bad parking, I don't think we can make it. The track dried up faster than I thought it was going to. That kind of sucks. We were getting in a very nice spot, and I was kind of hoping that this extra pit stop was going to be worth it, but I think we can probably conclude that it wasn't. No, this is not going to work out for us. This is so annoying. Like, with Hong, I think we were in the perfect place for strategy. With Gobbler's not quite as much, and the car is slower, so we couldn't really get quite as much as we hoped out of it, and the track dried up a bit faster than we anticipated. Oh, that was all just so... nah. Annoying. Absolutely annoying, this. I don't think we can really get anywhere here anymore unless, like, a lot of people have to pit with their tires being bad or something. We'll see about that. A few laps we can probably just skip for now, as, well, these guys now probably have to go in soon. Tire degradation is through the roof. Well, why is that? You're on neutral. I mean, yeah, sure, we're burning a lot of fuel, but the tires should be fine in theory. I guess the back tires are just absolutely melting through, but to be fair, we're not really having that many laps left in the race anyway, so I guess it is what it is. We've also already been lapped by the race leader, so we're going to have to do a lap less than anyone else. So I think, let's go all out and just, you know, pray. I don't think any one of these guys is going to go in for any pit stops before the end of the race, so prayers are probably not going to do much of anything for us. We're going to hope anyways. We're in 17th spot now. And let's just hope for some cars to explode or something. Did overtake someone in the pits. That is 16th. And, you know, you guys can surely just go to the pits for a little bit of a tire replacement, right? That's never going to happen. Oh, this is so unfortunate. I think with Hong we could have honestly gotten there. I mean, look at this. Even with Gomez, we're probably going to end up, I think with the rate we're catching up at, probably 15th. No, not 14th, but 15th spot. With a slower car. So the faster one would have very well been able to compete for the sponsorship objective, I think. even with that unfortunate change in track dampness. Like, yeah. Well, what an annoying race for us. I don't know, it's, maybe it's bad luck. Maybe it's just, I don't know, I would say it's honestly bad luck at this point. I don't really quite know what to say about this anymore. I think we've had like 5 or 6 races this season thus far, 2 of which Hong crashed the car. So, it's not really great. I don't know what else to say about it. That was absolutely disappointing. We were the only DNF in this race with Hong. Literally the only one. I don't think I've ever had any driver in this game crash for me as much as Hong is doing. So, I don't know what his issue is, but like something is certainly not going quite right there. And, yeah. Then the cars is kind of always weaker, performing weaker than the trainings, which at this point I've kind of come to expect. But I think that quite honestly, had he been driving till the end, we would have had a somewhat decent chance of at least competing for the sponsorship objective. Because honestly, at this point, 11th spot is not that far out of reach for us anymore. And just crashing out of the race like that is absolutely terrible. We're off target for, well, at least the sponsorship objective. But our chairman's also not going to be happy with us at all about that one. I mean, look at that. Like, Hong could be doing so much better. We're back in 10th spot as well in the team standings, which really sucks because I want to get up there. I want to get some more funding through being like 8th or 7th, you know. This is about something that we can usually contest if our cars would stay in the race, but currently that is absolutely not happening. I'm not sure why you're in love with Andre. I guess he didn't do terribly, but yeah. But that is absolutely terrible. I'm not sure how happy or annoyed my chairman is with me now. Didn't see that figure anywhere popping up, but it can certainly not be great. I don't know what to say. It's, yeah, like, 67% happiness on the chairman's side now. I'm not sure if that's pre or after. Yeah, so 67%. Not great. Marketability even went down. Andre's not developing anymore. Hong is. I mean, he's a 2.5 star, so he's like getting obviously better than Andre, but he's still just binning the car. I don't quite know how he does it. Maybe it's just the lack of smoothness. I don't know, but he is. Yeah. I'm kind of, I don't know. What do we say about that one? 1 million expenses, nothing new right there, I would say. Budget's kind of always shrinking over the course of the season for us, but yeah, I'm unsure what to say right there. At least the brakes got built, and the next race is going to be in the Ardennes in 24 days, for which, well, we already have top speed and acceleration, so that's why we're focusing on deceleration now. Did we already have the springs? I don't think so. So, we're going to go design a... wait, let's actually have an overview of what parts we have real quick. You can see brakes right here. We do have the suspension done already, so the brakes are going to be the last bits and bobs right here. But yeah, even the suspension, nothing of that is even sort of ready just yet. So even that is going to take a bit of time. We're going to go for the brakes, and we're going to go 25 to max to deceleration, and then plus 40 minus 20% reliability, because we can always fix the reliability after the fact anyways. Spill that part, and then we'll manage the development of our parts along the way. I mean, looking at the current state of things, deceleration, no, not deceleration, gearbox, and well, we can't even see it because we don't have the improved parts menu currently. But if we just quickly look at all these things, let's maybe accept the interview. Furious after the race, claiming that you let his tires run down. Wow. That's some morale going away. Great. Not a great choice to actually take an interview after that one, to be fair. But yeah, let's just quickly go and wait for the car repair to be complete so we can have a quick peek at standings right here. So yeah, engine performance we're currently working on mainly. We do have the gearbox also that we do probably want to push in terms of performance. That already leaves us at 2 days before the race for completing those two. So probably no new advancements for brakes and suspensions before we actually move on to to the new race after the Ardennes, which is going to be Munich then, for which we do want to have these parts ready. For the time being, we're going to focus on that though, and we're going to do that throughout the next episode, do a bit more development, and then we're going to hope that Hong doesn't crash the next time, I suppose. On that note though, let's end it off right here. I hope you all enjoyed the episode, despite our little crash driver right there. And if you did, of course, make sure to hit that subscribe button right down below, as well as that bell icon in order to stay up to date on all the future upcoming episodes. Also, of course, make sure to smash that like button. That does help out a ton with the algorithm. And that's about it. So, thank you so much for watching. And I hope I will catch you in the next one then. Ciao.